Make yourself comfortable, close your eyes, and let yourself be carried away by a story from the Middle Ages. The gentle glow of the forge, as the cool shadows of twilight began to settle over the quiet village. Inside the humble blacksmith's forge, a tender warmth filled the fragrant air. Jasper, the blacksmith's young apprentice, nestled comfortably on a thick pallet beside the workbench, already feeling the gentle pull of sleep creeping upon him. Outside, the last whispers of daylight faded into a soft indigo, but within the forge, a peaceful glow glimmered softly, casting amber pools of light that shimmered against the rough-hewn stones and the shimmering metal fixtures. The forge's core was alive with a quiet ballet of light and sound. A large, round bellows, made of worn leather and polished wood, sighed steadily as Jasper's master, old Master Alden, lazily pulled its handles. With each steady pull, a gentle rush of cool air entered the glowing embers, coaxing them into a lively, flickering dance. The embers themselves were a treasure trove of subtle, mesmerizing shades: vivid oranges, deep crimson, and fleeting hints of violet, their light pulsing softly like a heartbeat. Every so often, Master Alden would pause his rhythmic work, listening to the soothing percussion of the hammer striking tempered steel. The sound was a calm, reassuring symphony, a steady, percussive beat that echoed through the forge like a lullaby. Each strike was deliberate yet gentle, shaping the glowing metal with care and patience, creating arcs of sparks that spun like tiny fireflies caught in mid-flight. The sparks floated lightly through the air, sparkling momentarily before vanishing into the smoky darkness. The hammer's soft patter connected with the anvil in a steady, hypnotic rhythm, each tap resonating through the air in a comforting cadence. The scent of heated iron, mingled with faint whiffs of molten flux and the earthy smell of ash, created a rich, layered perfume, rich and grounding, like the promise of enduring crafts and honest labor. Every strike seemed to sing softly to the senses, whispering stories of strength and resilience formed through patience and skill. Jasper's eyelids fluttered gently, eyelids heavy with the weight of the peaceful scene. His fingertips brushed the cool surface of a nearby horseshoe as he gazed at the glowing embers, feeling their warmth seep through his fingertips into his bones. The forge's heat was a gentle embrace, comforting and safe, cocooning him within a haven of tradition and quiet craftsmanship. Outside, a faint breeze moved through the thatched roof, carrying the faint scent of rain-damp earth and whispering through the cracks in the wooden beams. As the soft glow of the forge flickered and danced, Jasper drifted further into serenity. He listened to the harmonious lullaby, the rhythm of the hammer, the whisper of the bellows, the crackle and hiss of the embers, each sound blending into a soothing symphony of peace, strength, and warmth. Here, within the embrace of the forge's gentle glow, sleep awaited, deep and peaceful, cradled by the quiet artistry of the night. Hammer's Lullaby, A Dance of Steel, Chapter 2. Hammer's Lullaby. A dance of steel as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a soft indigo hue across the sky. Jasper the blacksmith set about his final tasks in the forge. The last embers of the day flickered with a warm, inviting glow, illuminating the sturdy stone walls and rustic wooden beams of the workshop. The air was fragrant with the mingled scents of hot metal and charred wood, creating a comforting embrace that wrapped around him like a well-worn cloak. Jasper, a burly figure with arms like tree trunks, wiped the sheen of sweat from his brow, his hands still stained with soot from the day's labor. He moved with the practiced ease of a man who had spent countless hours at his anvil, each movement fluid and purposeful. The tools of his trade, hammers, tongs, and chisels, were neatly arranged on a wooden workbench, their surfaces reflecting the flickering light of the forge. With a deep breath, he selected his favorite hammer, its handle worn smooth from years of use. It felt familiar in his grip, a true extension of himself. As he approached the anvil, the rhythmic sound of his hammer striking the glowing metal began to fill the space, echoing softly against the walls like a soothing lullaby. Each strike produced a resonant thud that reverberated through the air, harmonizing perfectly with the crackling of the coals in the hearth. The forge itself was a sanctuary of warmth and creativity. The fire danced playfully, its flames curling and swaying, casting playful shadows that flickered across the stone floor. Jasper paused for a moment, allowing himself to be entranced by the mesmerizing movement of the fire, feeling the heat seep into his bones, coaxing away the fatigue of the day. As he lifted the hammer once more, the world outside faded into silence, leaving only the comforting cadence of steel meeting steel. With each strike, the metal began to take shape, transforming from a simple piece of raw material into something strong and beautiful. It was as if the hammer was a conductor, guiding the dance of the metal, imbuing it with purpose and strength. Outside, the moon rose high, casting a gentle silver light that filtered through the small window, illuminating the dust motes that floated lazily in the still air. Inside the forge, the warmth from the fire wrapped around Jasper like a loving embrace, while the hammer-esque lullaby continued to weave a spell of tranquility. With every swing of the hammer, Jasper found himself lost in the rhythm, each note a reminder of the craftsmanship that flowed through his veins. Time ceased to exist within these walls. There was only the music of creation and the promise of dreams that awaited him beyond the forge. As the final strike rang out, Jasper stepped back to admire his handiwork, a beautifully forged tool, gleaming in the soft light. Satisfied, he placed the hammer down and let the comforting ambience of the forge cradle him. With the sounds of the night settling in around him and the warmth of the embers glowing brightly, Jasper closed his eyes, allowing the lullaby of the hammer and the whisper of the fire to guide him into a peaceful slumber, where dreams of strength and artistry danced like the flames in his beloved forge. Whispering Embers. Stories of Old, Chapter 3. Whispering Embers. Stories of old. As twilight draped its silken hues over the horizon, the medieval village nestled in the valley began to quiet down. The sun dipped low, casting long shadows across cobblestone streets, and the scent of sweet, earthy loam filled the air. Within the sturdy wooden walls of Jasper's forge, the atmosphere was a comforting embrace, warm and inviting, as the rhythmic clanging of metal softened to a gentle lullaby. The forge itself was a sanctuary, the heart of craftsmanship beating steadily within its confines. The heavy door creaked open, revealing the flickering light that spilled from the forge like molten gold. Inside, the walls were lined with tools of all shapes and sizes, each one hanging patiently for the next creation. Hammers of varying weights, tongs with intricate designs, and anvils that seemed to hum with stories of their own stood as silent witnesses to countless hours of labor and artistry. Jasper, a stout figure with arms sculpted by years of forging, moved with a serene grace as he tended to the glowing embers of the fire. The flames danced like playful sprites, crackling softly and illuminating his weathered face, a map of lines, telling tales of dedication and perseverance. He watched the embers pop and swirl, their flickering tongues casting playful shadows that leapt along the stone walls, whispering secrets of olden days as they flickered. He stoked the fire gently, coaxing it to life, the heat radiating outward like a cozy blanket wrapping around him. The warmth enveloped him, and the soft glow of the coals painted the forge in rich shades of orange and crimson. Jasper's keen eyes sparkled with the reflections of the embers, as if they held the memories of every blade forged and every horseshoe shaped. In this tranquil space, Jasper took a moment to rest, sinking into a well-worn chair tucked in the corner, made from sturdy oak and polished to a smooth sheen by time and touch. The chair cradled him comfortably, and he closed his eyes, letting the harmonious sounds of the forge seep into his very being. The rhythmic sound of the hammer striking metal was like the heartbeat of the earth itself, a soothing pulse that lulled him into a gentle reverie. With each strike, he envisioned the strong, noble knights who had come to him for swords that glittered with promise, or the farmers who asked for plows that would till the rich soil of their land. Each piece was crafted with care, imbued with the spirit of the one who would wield it. As Jasper drifted further into slumber, The whispers of the embers began to weave stories of old heroic quests and gallant deeds, echoing softly in the recesses of his mind. The forge seemed to breathe alongside him, the embers murmuring tales of bravery and friendship that transcended the ages. In this peaceful haven, surrounded by the warmth of the fire and the comfort of familiar tools, Jasper surrendered to the night, cradled by the embrace of dreams filled with strength and craftsmanship. Each breath he took was deep and slow, as the forge continued its timeless symphony, lulling him deeper into the warmth of restful sleep. Nightfall among the Anvils, Chapter 4. Nightfall among the Anvils as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows over the cobbled streets of Elder Grove. A gentle stillness settled over the village. The vibrant hues of twilight painted the sky in soft purples and dusky oranges, gradually giving way to a star-speckled blanket of night. Inside the stone walls of Jasper's forge, nestled at the edge of the village, a comforting warmth awaited as he prepared for the evening's work. The air was thick with the rich aroma of hot iron and the earthy scent of coals smoldering in the hearth. Jasper moved rhythmically among the tools of his trade, each hammer, anvil, and tongs neatly arranged in their rightful places, glowing softly in the amber light of the forge. The forge itself was a sturdy structure, built from dark, weathered stone that had absorbed years of heat and labor. The wooden beams overhead were adorned with hanging lanterns, their flickering flames creating dancing shadows that played across the walls like ancient spirits whispering tales of craftsmanship. With a practiced flick of his wrist, Jasper lifted his hammer, its weight familiar and reassuring in his hand. As he struck the glowing metal on the anvil, the sound reverberated through the air thwack. Thwack each strike a rhythmic lullaby that echoed softly against the stone walls. The sparks flew up like tiny stars, twinkling momentarily before fading into the cool night air, a reminder of the fire's warmth that enveloped him. Jasper paused for a moment to savor the tranquility of the forge. The fire crackled softly, its embers glowing like a bed of coals, casting a warm, inviting light that illuminated the contours of his strong, calloused hands. His face, lined with years of work and dedication, softened as he watched the flames dance, weaving stories of strength and perseverance. The warmth wrapped around him, a protective cloak against the encroaching chill of the night. The forge was a sanctuary, filled with the tools of creation, hammers of various sizes hung from hooks, their surfaces glistening with remnants of past projects. Tongs, shaped like the hands of a friend, awaited the next embrace of molten metal. A large wooden bench stood against the wall, cluttered with bits of leather, scraps of metal, and small trinkets that Jasper had crafted over the years. Each piece told a story, a testament to his skill and artistry, whispering secrets of passion into the quiet of the night. As the stars began to twinkle brighter outside, Jasper set down his hammer and stepped back from the anvil. He took a deep breath, inhaling the comforting scents that filled the forge, the smoky essence of the fire, the metallic tang of iron, and the faint sweetness of freshly turned wood. The world outside faded away, leaving only the gentle sounds of the forge, a soothing melody that beckoned sleep. With a contented sigh, Jasper settled onto a simple wooden stool beside the hearth, allowing the warmth of the fire to envelop him. He closed his eyes, letting the rhythmic sound of the hammer and the crackling flames weave a tapestry of dreams, a realm where strength and artistry intertwined. And the night was alive with the possibilities of creation. In this peaceful haven, amidst the anvil and the glow of embers, Jasper surrendered to the calm embrace of the night, lulled into slumber by the heartbeat of the forge. Dreams forged in iron and fire, Chapter 5. Dreams forged in iron and fire as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm amber glow across the quiet village. Jasper, the blacksmith, set about closing his forge for the day. The rhythmic sound of his hammer striking iron had long since echoed through the valley, creating a soothing melody that mingled with the gentle rustle of leaves in the evening breeze. Inside the forge, the air was thick with the comforting scent of coals, smoke, and hot metal, a scent that felt like home to Jasper. The forge itself was a sanctuary of warmth, its stone walls radiating the heat of the glowing embers nestled within the hearth. Each ember flickered like a tiny star, casting a soft orange light that danced upon the walls, illuminating the various tools that hung neatly on their hooks, hammers, tongs, and chisels, each one telling a tale of labor and craftsmanship. The hearth, with its crackling fire, seemed alive, breathing life into the raw materials that Jasper had worked tirelessly to shape. He settled onto a sturdy wooden stool, the surface worn smooth by years of use, and watched as the last traces of daylight faded, replaced by the gentle glow of the forge. The rhythmic clinking of the hammer against the anvil had lulled him into a tranquil state, a heartbeat that echoed the very essence of creation. With each strike, he could almost hear the whispers of strength and resilience embedded in the metal, as if the iron itself sang a lullaby of its own. Jasper took a deep breath, inhaling the warmth and the familiar sense of his craft. The fire crackled softly, sending little sparks swirling into the air, each one twinkling like a fleeting dream. He leaned back, allowing the stillness of the night to embrace him, the gentle sounds of the forge wrapping around him like a cozy blanket. Outside, the night was serene, with the distant hoot of an owl punctuating the silence, a reminder of the peace that enveloped the world beyond his sanctuary. As the flames flickered, Jasper's eyes began to grow heavy. He envisioned the creations that lay ahead, the swords that would gleam in battle, the horseshoes that would carry gallant steeds, and the delicate pieces of jewelry that would adorn the graceful necks of local maidens. Each piece was a promise, a testament to the power of his hands and the warmth of his heart. With a contented sigh, Jasper closed his eyes, allowing the gentle sounds of the forge to wash over him like a soothing tide. The rhythmic pulse of the hammering transformed into a lullaby, and soon he surrendered to the embrace of sleep, where dreams awaited him, dreams forged in iron and fire, where strength and artistry intertwined in a symphony of creation. In this tranquil haven, the world outside faded away, leaving only the warmth of the forge and the promise of tomorrow's work, waiting patiently for the dawn.